Cathie Wood was on TV today to talk about Tesla stock, and she was called out. Let's take a look.
You've been very bullish on autonomy,
Yes.
vehicle autonomy, of an ETF all around it, robotics and the like. What do you make of what's happened with Cruise?
Yes.
The shutdown of Cruise, at least the temporary suspension of it. Derek Khosrowshahi, who runs Uber, was on the broadcast last week. He said he doesn't think that autonomy, in terms of autonomous vehicles or robotaxis or the like, are a real thing for another 5 or 10 years. Meaning, he's. And by the way, I think 5 or 10 years ago, he would have said 5 or 10 years ago, that was what,
And so would Elon, yes.
And so here we are.
Yes.
So what, have you changed your view about that?
No.
I mean, you must have, because I imagine if we go get tape of a conversation that we all probably had 5 or 10 years ago, we probably said 5 or 10 years from now.
22, 23,
Right.
24. We actually delay ours by 1 year relative to Elon, so maybe it should be 2 years. But here's where we've learned how important Tesla's proprietary data is. It's 5 million robots around the world. Cruise didn't have anything like that. It had hundreds. 5 million robots around the world collect data every day and send it back to Tesla. Tesla has more corner cases, which means disengagements, accidents, information like that, than all the other companies in the world combined. And I have to tell you, watching the breakthroughs in AI that we are seeing, they are astounding, the speed at which this is moving.
Right.
So it is interesting. I think it's a data issue. Autonomous taxi platforms are the biggest AI project in the world, and therefore we think Tesla is the
But
biggest
you have
AI.
My conclusion looking at all of the AI innovations is to create something like ChatGPT, you need to have tremendous amounts of data. And if you don't have that, then you cannot create it. Same, I think, goes with autonomous driving. You cannot just go to the internet and say, oh, I need 1 million edge cases. I need video clips that show all of these different crazy, unexpected edge cases. You cannot do that. You need to create that data yourself. You need to go and collect it, which positions Tesla to clearly be the #1 company to solve full self-driving. Even if Tesla did not have Elon Musk, I think it would still happen.
You've sold Tesla shares, and it used to be the #1 holding, I believe, in your ETF. It's now #3. You've sold about 20 million shares.
Yes.
Why?
So, well, whenever it goes up, it was up about 150% relative to our other names, many of which had not moved. So we will always recycle that way, take profits. And I would also say, listening to Elon on the last conference call, he's very concerned about the economy, as we are.
Cathie, will I look outside 5 years from now and see GM and Ford EVs everywhere?
It's very interesting to hear both of them pull back saying,
but do you think, with this new way, I don't even know if we'll be talking about GM and Ford in 5 years.
What is interesting about the news that both of them are pulling back for profitability reasons, they can't be profitable in this space unless they scale. That's how this works.
It's a catch-22.
So it's catch-22, and their shareholder base is very internal combustion engine oriented, and they want their profits now, and they want their dividends now. And they don't want that kind of investment.
So how are they going to do it?
Losses.
Will they be able to?
I don't know. All I know is, back to the Tesla question, as they are pulling away, our market share expectations for Tesla go up.
Right.
You know, and so to answer the question, we sold as it was up 150% relative to everything else. We have not sold much since then. And it will, if we're right on this autonomous taxi opportunity, it will remain in the top 5 in our fund, in our flagship.
So companies like Ford and GM, they want profit now, dividends now, and bankruptcy. We can have that later. But in this little clip, Cathie Wood does sound a little bit less excited about Tesla. Cathie Wood certainly has the room for Tesla stock purchases. Currently, ARKK, the main fund that Cathie runs, has room for $124 million in Tesla stock purchases. Cathie Wood, though, is not changing her 5-year Tesla stock price targets. So it doesn't seem that Cathie Wood is bearish about Tesla stock or anything like that. To me, it sounds more that maybe she likes a few other companies maybe a little bit better, specifically during this period of time, which could maybe last for a year or two. And another reason why Tesla stock is not number one in her fund, at least for some period this was the case. Some of these other stocks went up quite a bit more than Tesla stock. But it is also true that Cathie Wood did reduce her Tesla stock position earlier. But every time when she sold Tesla stock, her position in Tesla stock was more than 10%. And it's fairly standard for fund managers to keep their positions, no matter how excited and how convinced they are about a position. It's still normal for them to keep their positions roughly at around 10% or under. So I wouldn't really make a huge news splash here saying, oh, Cathie Wood no longer believes in Tesla stock. Not at all. You have to remember that Cathie Wood is an active fund manager, meaning if she sees, let's say, an interest rate environment that creates a disadvantageous position for a company like Tesla, but there's another company that just maybe not as good, but it wouldn't be affected by interest rates and the economy as much, she might make a choice to invest in this other company that perhaps does not have as much potential as Tesla, because it is better suited for this specific environment and it will do better during this period of time. That is not at all how I invest my money. I just look at the fundamentals and I invest based on these fundamentals. I don't really care what's going to happen in the short term. I do not trade like Cathie Wood does. However, I do believe that if you make money trading, which is a very tiny minority of people, if you can do that, there's nothing wrong with that. So, yeah. In the meantime, here's what Tesla has done during the same period of time. I became a Tesla stock investor in early 2019, and the ride has been quite a crazy one.